Sportsmen, welcome to week two. It is May 20th, 2026. Jason and Mark. Flashcards, topic of the day. Sportsmen, week two. Why so many men feel lost, even when life looks fine. So, very important topic. A lot of times we feel that we have to own everything internally, which is a big topic of Forgeman and how the drift starts to not hold ourselves accountable and
Right.
open up and be vulnerable. I like that society is finally allowing men to have emotions. It was a couple of years ago. I forgot the Los Angeles Raiders player. They did a special, guys tattooed up and everything, and he talked about his mental health journey. And it was really powerful to me because men didn't
Right.
talk about it, but all too often we just seem to own it on our own, and it just can eat us alive. So that's the topic for the week. Why so many men feel lost, even when life looks fine.
I also think even though society accepts us being more emotional and sharing today, it's still inherently part of who we are. As men, we're supposed to be the strong ones. We stay on the boat when it sinks and the women and children get on the life rafts. That's ingrained in us for hundreds of years and maybe genetically that we can't beat down. Jason and I were talking earlier. It reminded me of a Bill Burr skit where he's on a plane that he thinks crashing and the guy three rows behind him is losing his mind, and he says, I just want to turn around and tell him, sit down, shut up, be a man, suck it up, act like nothing's wrong. And that was funny. It was a good skit. So that's reality that we think we're expected to be that way, right?
And there's some comical noises and all in there.
Yeah.
But all too often it leads to isolation, and isolation is not a good thing. And in this journey, we're going to share our personal paths. You have our intro videos and our quick bios, but I've been through it. I think we mentioned that Mark and I came from the car business.
Right.
During my second marriage, I found some success financially, um, but found some struggles, and the drift was definitely strong. Um, Failing relationship, and I turned to isolation, and it was easy. So, had a decent income, but didn't look outwardly, looked inwardly for answers that weren't there,
Right.
and dug a hole that was deeper and deeper. And it's okay to reach out. Um,
100%.
they say the true friend tells you when something is wrong, whereas the fake friend tells you that everything's good. So if I've got something on my cheek, I want to hear about it. And Mark tells me, and I'll
Yeah.
tell Mark the
The
same.
booger friend.
The booger friend, the bear in the cave. Isolation does nothing positive, and that's why the cohort and the brotherhood of forged men exists. Is to truly lean on each other, just as a sounding board, um, just advice. I can't. I mean, how many times have we talked over the years? Just
Tons.
and the bond is uncanny. So I think we've shared. So Mark and I have known each other for approaching a decade, and there've been a handful of times he just reaches out and says, "You okay?" And I think it was all but once the question needed to be asked. So even though through our relationship and friendship, there'd be times where we hadn't talked for a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
maybe be a couple of hours, but all but one time, um, when he said, "Are you okay?" It was an innate sense whether we were speaking or not. So just the brotherhood and the reach is hugely impactful, and it helped me immensely.
That's something we all need, something we need to expand. Jason mentioned isolation. What is it they call it in prison when you get put in the box?
Solitary.
Solitary confinement. That's the worst punishment you can get, even in prison, is being by yourself, right? So you got to do, we'd love for you to do life with us and with our cohort of brotherhood, but you need to do life with somebody that you can use as an honest sounding board. Let them know what you're going through. Sometimes just talking about it helps.
Yeah.
I've had managers and bosses that I'm ready to quit a job and just going and sitting down and telling them I'm mad as hell. I feel better as soon as it's over. I'm ready to go back and get back to work. So that is therapeutic in itself. But that man is going through similar things and he might have some advice for you. And you might make him feel better about his life just because you all are talking about it.
Well, you brought up a good point in the honest conversations. So the first time in a professional environment, so I think I've shared I've had two careers. One was in retail banking and one was in the car business. Outside of going the entrepreneur route. So in banking, when I was leaving banking, going into the car business, I was a branch manager and my territory had been realigned with an area manager. So I was actually excited about the change. Unfortunately, that excitement was very, very short-lived when I realized that it just wasn't going to be a good relationship. So I put in my 2 week notice, and I was told that if you didn't have to work a 2 week notice, that you got paid for it. So I made them maybe think that I was going to competitive bank.
Right.
No lies, no mistruths, no dishonesty, but just forego any questions about where I was going. And I was made to work the 2 weeks, such is life. But in the exit interview, I had a very, very honest dialogue. And I didn't would have had the gumption to have that conversation if I
Mhm.
wasn't a foot and a half out the door with another hour on the time
Totally.
card.
Yeah.
Um, but in that conversation, I realized if I would have had that conversation, had the strength and the courage to have that conversation 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month prior, it would have solved a lot of the issues that were
Right.
made up just because of the communication. So the isolation is not a good thing. Having those conversations, and at least you know where you stand. Had I had that conversation and it would have gone a different way, at least would have known when I was exiting.
Right.
So the honest dialogue just kind of triggered that
Well,
with me.
the worst conversations are the ones you don't have, right?
Yeah.
The ones that you have in your mind that you're let torturing you because you wanted to say something to somebody, or somebody doesn't know how it's affecting you or it's affecting your team or your family. Those are the worst things because they torture you at 3 a.m. or whenever it is that you're reliving that. Versus if you just get it out, you're not going to ruin anything. If you something blows up in your face, it was going to blow up sooner or
Yeah.
later. You just think better sooner than later. That's for sure.
At least you uncovered it. You knew the landmine
Get it
was, as
out of the
opposed
way.
to
Yeah.
walking along 100%, 100%. So the drift and how it happens, to kind of go in line with the teaching. So the drift starts small. It's easy.
It does.
It starts with, I'm not going to have that conversation with this person, or
I'll do it tomorrow.
I'll do it tomorrow. Mark and I have had several of those conversations where, in age, memory is tending to fail at least one of us, perhaps both. But I'm getting good at the organizational piece.
He is. That's true.
The organizational piece, I have to have. I have to have a system. And for those of you that are My Blue Heaven fans, it's a system for everything. And
Great move.
yes, that way the bottom pancake gets as much syrup as the top pancake. But everything does have to be systemic in my life, or it doesn't happen. For example, this year we've had really, really bad pollen. We're in Charlotte, North Carolina. The allergies were insane.
Yeah.
I haven't had to take allergy medicine in 5 or 6 years. I needed it this year, but I didn't have a system to take the medicine. So I'd forget it. I'd go one day on, 2 days off, and it was a
Yeah.
marked difference. Put a system in place, system of accountability, and take the allergy medicine, and voila, I can breathe. It's amazing. But I do find it to be systemic, but it's not putting off the tasks. So I have the notes, I have the notes from our conversations or conversation with vendors or employees or anything else, but it's a matter of putting that into action. It can't be held until tomorrow. It's say, it'll be there tomorrow. It can wait, but don't let tomorrow be the thief of today.
100%. Yeah.
Great video Mark posted yesterday, which really triggered this idea. The notes pile up, and yes, it'll be there. But don't forget about that customer that you promised something to, that teammate that you promised something to. Because if your word isn't there, if you don't honor your commitments,
Right.
then what weight did your word hold? There's nothing. So it's about owning it, staying on top of it, and implementing a course of action to not defer and let tomorrow start a new day.
The worst person you can lie to is yourself.
Yeah.
And when you tell yourself you're going to get something done today, or I'll do it tomorrow, I'll go to the gym, I'll start eating better, I'll have that conversation with my boss, with my wife, with my girlfriend, whatever it is. You start and you don't do it, you start that day by telling the number one person on earth that you're responsible for a lie. And that's a terrible relationship. We also, I was listening to a financial guru, and this has been 20 years or so ago. And he said the problem with salespeople, especially good earners, is they think they can all out earn their mistakes. Now, that was financial advice, but as men, we think we catch up. We can do it later. I can get 10 times done tomorrow what I should have done today. And then the pressure just builds to get it all done. And that's just bad medicine, since you're talking about taking medicine for allergies.
It is bad medicine, and the financial advice reminds me of Jim Rohn. You can
Yeah.
go straight past zero for any of you that know Jim Rohn. So, lot of good videos and advice he and I have shared back and forth. But um, the change starts with brotherhood. It starts with accountability, and that's what Forgeman is all about. We have the Discord channel. Mark and I are always on there. We have the cohort with the Discord developing, and it's about having a sounding board. Whether it be, hey guys, I can't sleep. What's on my mind? It's about having people to share life with that have had similar experiences that can help you get through it. It's about the intentional action. It's about doing something.
Yeah.
Um, I was never much of a reader before Mark and I met, and after leading the horse to water and holding him there a bit, I finally started to adopt the audiobooks. And the couple of great books, but The Traveler's Gift and then The Final Summit. The Final Summit, and I didn't have enough knowledge from a literary or I guess an educational standpoint yet to know what those two words were.
Yeah.
Um, but the Final Summit was do something. And if every day you wake up and you do something, be intentional about it, intentional and well executed for the betterment of yourself, whether it be mental, physical, health, friendship, go outside and put your hands in your pocket, neck up like a lizard and stare at the sun. Just take it in. It's doing something to better yourself. Because the more you isolate, the deeper the hole goes, the
Amen.
darker the room gets, and the more the blinders go on.
Jason said it, intentionality. That's the key. And no matter how small the task is, if you go at it with intention, when you complete it, you're going to feel like King Kong. And that's what God made you to be, a king of your own little universe. So that intentionality word that Jason uses, that is not a word that's normally in my vocabulary, is huge.
Yeah. And the king has to be healthy to provide for the kingdom. Um, Better relationships, whether it be marital, just relationship wise, children, spouse, friends, family, loved ones, neighbors. Um, to be the best, whomever you are to somebody else, you have to be the best for yourself. If you're not well, you can't take care of somebody else.
100%.
So we're here.
When plane hits the air pocket, they tell you to put the oxygen mask on you before you do anybody else.
This is true.
Same
True.
concept. We
And
need to put in the notes in the next couple of days, the Discord channel
okay.
and our phone number, because we have a website set up for Forged Men, and there's a 24-hour AI attendant that has some I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but for some information, some data that you can use if you need it, or get you linked up with us or something along those lines if we need to.
So we'll put the Discord channel out there, phone number as well. Put the website out there. So it's just Join Forge Ben is the website. Everything's on there. We'll put that in the links. Please keep the comments coming. So we're brand new with this. Thank you so much for the comments so far and the likes on the videos. Please keep them coming. Let us know what the response is, what we can help you with. And we're here for you in the meantime as well.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on week 2?
We would also like to have some guests. So if you're walking down this path and you got some knowledge or something you'd like to give us a ring, send us a message. We would like to talk to you, see if we're a fit to maybe do a joint podcast together.
I love it.
Yeah.
So as you saw from my intro to myself, it was scripted. I'm a scripted person, otherwise I get a little bit off track, but I have my accountability partner here to keep me on task. So we are unscripted here. So it's the yin and yang. So there's a couple of guys who have been through it and are trying to make it a little bit more bearable for others. So we'd love to have you on. So please reach out to us, let us know how we can help, or if you'd like to join. Again, website, Discord, phone numbers will all be there. Like, subscribe. I'm new to this stuff.
Oh yeah.
Smash that like button. Whatever the YouTubers say. Short, sweet.
Yeah, it's perfect. I love it.
Cool. So
great talking to you guys.
Thanks for listening. Please let us know your thoughts or anything you'd like to hear about in future weeks. Appreciate your time. Talk soon. Peace and love.